Alright everybody, hello and welcome as always. I am Sean. This is In The Mixer, episode 112 of our FC Isle of Man series. Now, yesterday's episode, if you haven't gone and watched it, go and check it out. We go through our entire team, a couple of tactical tweaks, all the transfers out, all the transfers in. You can meet the new lads, say goodbye to the old lads, all that sort of wonderful stuff that's going to bring you up to date in today's episode. Now, it is still early days in our second season in the Premier Division. We've had international call-ups, we've had injuries, we've had a whole bunch of different stuff, but we have started the season relatively well. We're going to jump straight in now, have a look at how we've gone over the last couple of matches and the massive games that we have coming up in this episode. So here's where we're going to start off. Of course, in yesterday's episode, we went through the entire team. We played our first home match of the season, a 3-0 victory against Southampton, a wonderful performance. We then backed that up with a 2-1 victory over recently promoted Blackburn. George Escobar scoring 2 goals from corners and 93rd minute winner. Absolutely fantastic. Is there anything better than an injury time goal? He was wonderful. Ruben Neves randomly popping up at Blackburn at 35 years of age. He only left Wolves last season after they got relegated, and he scored from the penalty spot. Physically, nowhere near it anymore, but technically still very good. Mentally, still very good as well. Just firing through now 14 seasons into this save, and he's still hanging on and having a Premier Division career. We then got brought back down to earth a little bit. We rotated quite a bit for our Carabao Cup game, which is fine. I don't really care about the Carabao Cup, but Port Vale beating us 1-0 is a bit disappointing, given that they are down in League One, which doesn't really give me a tremendous amount of faith in some of the backup players in the squad, though it wasn't entirely. Like Escobar played, Aguirre played, Blore was out there and struggled, so I think in terms of overall depth, there is some development needed. We then went away to Bournemouth and lost 3-0. They were, to be fair, very good in this game. I think I got it wrong tactically because they also had, in addition to the 3 goals they scored, I think like 2 goals ruled out for offside. Martin Martinez, not the most imaginative name in the world, but 21-year-old Chilean forward, looks to be very good. He tore us apart on the day. He was excellent. Mason Greenwood also getting a goal in that one. We did manage to turn it around though, a 3-0 victory away at Aston Villa, a fantastic performance from everyone, and then a 3-2 victory over Norwich. They left it late to try and get back into the game. We were 3-1 up at half-time, and they did pull one back to make it very nervy in the 94th minute, but we managed to grind out a victory there. Scott Phillips, again, fantastic in that one. And then a 0-0 draw with Leeds last time out at the DW Stadium. Game flew by in the blink of an eye. I forgot to make subs, which probably would have helped us maybe break the deadlock, but, we learn. We go again. And then in this episode, we have 2 massive fixtures. It's a trip down to London to play Tottenham, and then a couple of weeks after the international break, we also play Chelsea, who are second in the division. If you look at us, we're currently sitting in 3rd, which is mind-boggling. 7 games played, 5 wins, 1 draw, and 1 defeat in that time. Man United, 7 straight wins. They are just already crushing the competition. And you can see, if we look at the teams that played, they've beaten Everton, Arsenal, Man City, Brighton, who were in the top 6 last season. Just absolutely crushing everyone. So I think they're going to probably walk away with the division again this year. But for us, well and truly ahead of schedule as to where I thought we were going to be. It took us forever to get to 16 points in our first season. We're already at that point. Again, we're just managing expectations. I only really want to finish in the top 10 this season. I'm not super worried about anything above and beyond that relating to European football, Europa League, Euro Cup, whatever else is an absolute bonus as far as I'm concerned. The squad all in good spirits. We've got a full group to pick from for the first time. Greg Carragher is back in the lineup. He's been injured for quite a bit. Here's our backup left wing option in case anything happens with Elliot Blore, but Blore has not had the greatest start to the season. You can see here his last 5 games, a 6.56 average rating and only 6.71 average rating for the season. He's not exactly hit the ground running, I think, the way that we would want him to. Though against Tottenham, he is playing against his old side. We know the commentary loves to tell us when players score against their old team, biting the hand that used to feed them, all that sort of stuff. Hopefully, we can kind of leverage that a little bit, harness the match engine and the commentary a little bit to try and get him an improved performance against his old club today. Otherwise, opening 5 games of the season, Javier Aguirre as the main starter has been probably the best player thus far. You can see his potential ability is starting to level out a little bit. He's now 20, but he's been absolutely fantastic. A 7.6 average rating so far, started each game, 6 assists in that time as well, pulling the strings from that number 10 spot. And the other one we should highlight, Scott Phillips. He's got 5 goals in the first 7 games of the season, a wonderful return for the ex-Fulham and Wolves man. And really, if we can get this finishing piece, this 11, up to like a 15 or something, he's going to be an absolute beast in terms of a finishing striker. But it's a team game and the team's been doing quite well. Magic of editing. Let's jump forward and look at the 2 lineups against Tottenham now. So for us first, we've got Kubas in goal, Warburton and Escobar as the central defensive partnership. Escobar, of course, wearing the captain's armband for the 3rd consecutive season. Carlos Andre at left wing back, Cedron at right wing back, Lester Willanker midfield. He scored an absolute screamer a couple of weeks ago against Aston Villa. Barbosa alongside him as the Messiah. Aguirre playing at the 10. Bloor on the left wing, Peacock on the right, and Phillips leading the line up top. It's pretty much a full strength lineup for us, though we do have some cash up our sleeve still. Oh, actually, you know what I should show you guys? I don't think I can actually find the email, but we are actually the highest spending club in the world. That £293 million that we spent, albeit not up front, a lot of that actually coming through over the next 3 years, makes us the highest spending club in the world in 2032. Mind-blowingly, I think the Premier League spent like $1.8 billion or something in the transfer market last season, or last window, I should say. So it's not just us, everybody's doing it. But yeah, maybe when you look at that expenditure, us being in third position isn't a massive surprise, but I do think the majority of the cost that we paid is because we've brought in English talent to complement the side as much as we can. Looking over at the Tottenham side, before we get stuck into the game, they are one of the sides using entirely regen players. No longer got anyone really in the squad actually Jeremy Doku is one, the left winger from Belgium, 30 years of age now, but they've got very few actual players in their squad that aren't regens. Allison Vicente is one we're going to keep an eye on. He scored an absolute screamer against us when we played them last season. You can see here, 5-star current ability and potential ability, 21-year-old Brazilian striker with already 21 caps to his name. Just a fantastically well-rounded player. 19 technique, 16 finishing, 17 first touch, 20 off the ball movement. He's already scored 4 times this season in 6 appearances. He's going to be a big challenge. Max Sandra on the left wing, another Brazilian. Not capped by the international side yet, but again, 5-star current ability and potential. 17 crossing, dribbling, first touch. As a winger on attack, like he's got pretty much all the key traits you'd need. At the back, this Almeida guy was, I think, one of the players that was in the media predicted 11 or the media dream 11 at the start of the season. Again, another Brazilian. They've got quite a few playing down in Tottenham. Central defender looks to be very, very good as well. As a central defender on cover, he's got pretty much all the key traits that you'd need. And they're going to provide a stern challenge. So really, this is a side that is the finished article that is already at that potential level, and our team, which may get to that stage, but right now, quite a few of those players are playing based on their potential ability rather than their actual ability. So it's a big test for us. Tottenham, of course, down in 6th spot. It is early days in the season. If they beat us and beat us by enough, they could go above us in this early stage of the season. First highlight is with Tottenham. We are, of course, in our attacking structure. Early part of the season, we want to try and, if we're going down swinging as much as possible. It was a drive from distance from the edge of the area. It didn't have much pace on it, so watched out for the goal kick. But first strike in anger goes Tottenham's way. We've got a highlight here again, left-hand side, starting from the throw-in. Back to Almeida, who is taking throw-ins as a centre-back. If we win the ball back in a good area, we've got goal-side players on the halfway line. If we can get this ball back and just pump one over the top for Phillips to chase, but now that looks like they've recovered. Peacock wins the ball back though. Exchanges pass with Cedron on the right-hand side. Good ball into Leicester. Now back to Escobar. Still set to a ball-playing defender. He and Warburton continuing to work their way towards being competent in that role. Now to Cedron again. Can we work a 2v1 on this right-hand side? Plays Peacock, who beats one man and gets goal side. Drags the central defender across. Deep ball across towards Phillips, and it's a wonderful header from Scott Phillips. He might not be able to finish, only 11 finishing, but that 18 heading is absolutely fantastic. We just have to hang balls in the area, and his movement gets him in the right position, and his heading ability finds the finish each time. I think of the 6 goals he's scored so far this year in the league, probably 4 of them are headers, and that is a wonderful effort between 2 defenders. Defender commits early, he waits, watches the fly of the ball, and just nods that one into the far corner for the 1-goal advantage. Ball back to Kubas here. He has come out of his box, but does well to get it to Escobar. Aguirre, now to Leicester, across to Barbosa, who looks for Bloor, but it's cut out by Omiyonga, the Tottenham right back. Back into O'Sullivan, and Jalson's joined in from midfield now, and he's found a great finish there, to be fair to him. It's on a yellow card, and let's actually have a look at him. Is he another Brazilian player? Another Brazilian in the Tottenham lineup. They seem to be addicted to signing South American players, and particularly Brazilian players. It's a great run here from Omiyonga, and that ball from O'Sullivan finds him in space, and he just gets goal side of the right back there, Carlos, his compatriot, and it's a good finish near post. Can't be too annoyed about that one. It's a good passage of play and good play from the midfield joining the attack. What we might do is use our demand washout here. Try and give everyone some focus for the next 10 minutes or so. 2 minutes to be added on. We're through that now. So at half time, it's 1-1. Tottenham with 6 shots, 3 on target and 56% possession at home. For us, 3 shots, 3 on target, 44%. At least the chances we're creating, we're getting on target. But let's assertively tell everyone we owe Tottenham after what happened in our last match. Let's go with that. I don't think we used that before the game. As always, we'll give it to the hour mark before we make subs, but we're very rapidly approaching that stage. So we're going to hit pause. You can see Cedron's got a bit of a knock. We might bring on Guillaume Benchop just to shore up things on that right-hand side. Lua Barbosa hasn't had the greatest game. We might give David Cambridge some time. And do we push a little bit for an equaliser here, or do we keep what we've got? Oh, we're actually on our positive mentality. I didn't realise that. We might switch to attacking, because why not? But at the same time, I think we'll also, given the quality of Tottenham, just change ourselves up to put everyone in their preferred roles. It's pretty much the same roles that they're already doing. It's just slight adjustments to the actual setting that they'll be playing on. So everyone in their preferred roles within the formation, and at the same time switching to attacking to try and give us a little bit of incentive to go on and find a winner. We'll hold off on that last sub to the last 10 minutes or so. I've learnt my lesson from last season. As soon as we make 3 subs, you get an injury or you get a red card or something like that. Highlight here, ball out left towards Carlos Andrade. He's lost out to Juninho though, and we've got to get across because he's flying into the box and he's got the striker, tongue-tied. He got the strike away, but Kubas with a wonderful save, pushing it beyond the far post. Doku, come off the bench. He's taking the corner now. Good header away by Leicester, but he's put it again behind for the corner. Maybe that edge of the area setup isn't great. We've got 2 players there, but 3 guys from Tottenham kind of hovering around. Header away here from Peacock. Aldo, back out to Doku. Thankfully, he doesn't put the ball straight in. We had a lot of defenders commit to closing down the ball there with Doku. Carlos Andrade with a good tackle, puts it out for a throw-in. Highlight comes to an end. All right, 10 minutes remaining. We're going to make one more sub. Let's just go by average rating. We'll trust Carlos Andrade and Neil Peacock to see out the game with their yellow cards. It's Elliot Bloor again struggling. We might bring on Greg Carragher because you guys don't see him much in games. We'll put him to a winger on attack, which is his preferred role, and passionately say that we have faith in him. I don't think he scored for the club yet, but maybe he can be the incentive off the bench. We're also using out to ban Morsh out, just give everyone focus through to full time. 4 minutes of additional time to be added on here. Is there any late drama at White Hart Lane or New White Hart Lane? No, there isn't. The referee calls full time. In the end, Tottenham had the lion's share of chances and possession. 11 shots, 6 on target, 55% possession. For us, 5 shots, 3 on target, 45% of the ball. A wonderful performance. Calmly, I'm going to say, well done, lads. You've avoided defeat and proved a lot of people wrong, and they've all responded positively, which is great. So it does see us stay in 4th position. Not a terrible result. Spoil shared as Bloor and Tottenham renewed acquaintances. Jalson, with his wonderful goal, gets the man of the match award and an 8.3 match rating. Cedron's picked up an injury. He's going to be out for 10 days to 2 weeks, which isn't the worst thing in the world. We do have 14 days before the game against Chelsea due to international call-ups. So I don't think there's too much that we need to do relating to the team. I think Elliot Bloor's average ratings and so far this season aren't fantastic. The question is, Jimmy Winter isn't much better and Greg Carragher isn't much better either. Maybe we'll go with Jimmy Winter just because he's got a bit higher current ability. And let's make that tactical adjustment to set him to an inverted winger on support. And we are at home to Chelsea, so we might as well make our transition back to the attacking structure as well. So it's another trip to London next time. Magic of editing, though. We're going to jump forward the 2 weeks of the international break and look at the 2 lineups now. All right, just like that, we are 2 weeks ahead now. We didn't get through the international break entirely unscathed. Javier Aguirre unfortunately picked up a knock. He's out for, I think, like another week and a half. So Barbosa moves to the number 10 role. We do have another number 10 coming in January. We'll talk about him when he actually arrives. It means Cambridge will start as a box-to-box alongside Leicester. And of course, the other change, Jimmy Winter, we spoke about that one before the game. Now, Chelsea, still managed by Frank Lampard. He did leave, I think initially sacked, and then he went to Inter Milan where he was for 4 years. Then he was England manager for 4 years, a season at Olympique Marseille before returning to Chelsea at the start of last season. If we look at his milestones, what's he actually won in his career? So in his first run at Chelsea, he won the Super Cup in his first season. He won the Europa League in 2020. And again in 2021, Chelsea went back-to-back in that competition. They won the Europa Conference League. I'm not sure what that is in 2023 with Inter Milan. An Italian Super Cup, an Italian Cup. A European International League with England was his one success. He was runners-up in the 2030 World Cup. Didn't win anything in his time at Marseille, but then won the Community Shield at the start of last season when he joined Chelsea and runners-up in the Premier Division last year. So an interesting career for Frank Lampard, back at Chelsea for a second stint. Chelsea have an incredibly strong lineup. Again, for the second week in a row, we're playing a team in entirely regens. I think that's the big transition we're going to see this year. Giovanni Scovio, Italian central defender, their highest average rated player for the season. He looks very, very good. 5-star current ability, ball-playing defender at the back. He looks very, very tidy. They picked him up from Roma a few seasons ago. He's been at Chelsea for a good few years now. In midfield there, McKernan, we spoke about him, I think, the last time we played Chelsea. Stalwart of the England national side, still only 25 years of age with 60 caps to his name. He would have played under Lampard at an international level and now for club as well. Karamoko scored an absolute screamer the last time we played them. Inverted winger on that left-hand side. Ivory Coast international, still only 25. Chelsea have a very, very strong squad. I know I say that all the time. Leading the line up top, the brilliantly named Tom, 21-year-old Brazilian striker, 6 caps to his name. 5-star current and potential ability. He looks to be a very good advanced forward. Good technical attributes, good mental attributes there. 18 off the ball movements are always a pain in the ass, and physically very gifted as well. So they've got a fair bit about them. We're going to have to be at our best to beat them, but we are at home this time around. We are going attacking this time around. It was enough to get us a point against Tottenham. What can we do against this very strong Chelsea side? Assertively, we're going to say we owe Chelsea after what happened in our last match. Everyone's responded positively, which is great. And really, we're just kind of going to sit back and watch what happens in this one. I think 10 games played or 9 games played, we're well further ahead on the table of where I thought we were going to be at this point in the season. So really, any additional points, any additional performances at this stage are just bonuses. First highlight of the game, thrown on the right-hand side for Cedron, who did get himself fit. It's a long ball forward from Chelsea, but Escobar should recover. Warburton goes with a long ball forward, which wasn't quite on. It's headed back to Corti in the Chelsea midfield. Strike from distance hits the post before Escobar clips it away. I think Cooper's had it covered. I'm not sure if Cooper's touched it based on the 2D highlight, but you can see that danger there immediately. Even one guy bursting forward from midfield is enough to get beyond 2 or 3 of our defenders. Escobar, Cedron works the triangle nicely. Just have to keep the ball here, boys. Good ball forward to Peacock in a nice little half space there. Just keep possession. Resets now through Leicester at the base of midfield. Now Escobar across to Warburton. Just play it into midfield. Instead, he's gone the switch out to the right-hand side. It has worked out. Cedron maybe could have put it in behind. Oh, and that ball just over the top. If Phillips had a read that, it might have been an opportunity for him. Calcani comes out and claims as the highlight continues. McKernan switches out to Karamoko on the left-hand side. Now, this 1v1 situation is the danger. Karamoko, very good. And that drive from the edge of the area wasn't miles away. Kubis was definitely scrambling. We're through 30 minutes. We're going to use our demand more shout. Just hopefully give everyone some focus through to the halftime period. If we can keep it at 0-0 up until then, we might be able to regroup and kind of realign onto what we want to do in the second half. 1 minute of additional time. We're through that now. So at halftime, we've had 2 shots, 1 on target, 49% possession. They've had 7 shots, 3 on target, 51%. And I think if we leave things as they are, they'll probably score. So let's adjust to our positive mentality. Let's adjust a couple of these roles, which is, I wouldn't do this if we were further into the season, but because it is still so early, I think we're going to just try and put everyone in their preferred roles for the second half. Which again, nothing crazy. It's just putting everyone in their preferred role for the position they're playing in. If we were, say, like 15, 20 games in the season, I'd just continue. But because we are still in the first 10 games, and there's quite a few new faces in our lineup, we're going to try and adjust. Assertively, I'm going to say I'm happy with the performance so far. Keep it up. Everyone seems to have responded positively. But there are a few low match ratings here. A few 6.4s, 6.5s. We'll give everyone 15 minutes and have a look at form, fitness cards, all that sort of stuff, and then make our subs. We have got a highlight here. Leicester with the ball, exchanging passes with Cedron from the throw-in. Back to Leicester again. Can he work the ball into the box? It's front stick for Peacock, and we managed to turn it home through Scott Phillips. I think Scovio cleared the ball into Peacock, and the deflection has taken it to Phillips. He's having a fantastic episode and a wonderful start to the season. His 7th of the year already, and 2nd in these 2 games that we've had in this episode. Leicester loses out. I think it's Scovio comes and clears it into Peacock, and then it manages to find its way to Phillips. Surely that counts as an assist for Peacock. He put his body on the line. Maybe it goes down as an error from Scovio, but I'll take the goal, and now we have something to defend for the remaining 30-odd minutes of the game. All right, we're through the hour mark, so let's have a look at these subs. Match ratings aren't horrible. There's 2 yellow cards we need to be cautious of. Cedron at right wing back, I should say, and Barbosa at the 10. But I think the bigger concern is Jimmy Winter's not had a great game. We might bring on Elliot Blore to see if he can actually start to find some form. And Cambridge in midfield hasn't had the greatest game either. How can we adjust for that one? We might not be able to based on the injuries to Aguirre and everyone else. So it might end up being Cedron at right wing back. He hasn't played poorly, but I might bring on Guillaume Benchop just in case we pick up an additional yellow card. And I'll have a bit of faith in Barbosa to get through the match without picking up his 2nd yellow. But we do have an additional substitute up our sleeve if we need it. I've also used our Get Creative shout just to try and give everyone a nudge. If we get a 2nd goal here, we might be in a great spot. And that was an excellent header from Escobar from the corner. Calcagni equal to it. Is the highlight going to continue here for Chelsea now they've got possession? It's a long ball out left towards Stuani, who has gotten goal side and has McKernan in front of him. Thankfully, we managed to stand him up. Leicester does well to force the ball back into midfield. Erling Haaland's come off the bench. He tore us apart the first time we played Chelsea. I don't forget that 6-1 defeat to them last season. Ball back stick for Karamoko. It's clipped the post again, and it maybe was a good save from Kubis. Hard to tell in 2D before Benchop hooks it out for the corner. Corner to be taken by Russo now. Goes back stick towards Tom. It's well headed away. Barbosa at the top of the box for us. Phillips, send him down the left channel. Can he try and hold this up and find support? Campbell with a wonderful tackle. Highlight here for Chelsea. Again, a set piece has caused us some issues. Bloor, though, carries it away from midfield. Cambridge comes forward to join the attack. Left-hand side of the box. Getting into the area now. Loses out to Russo, who then finds Tom on the right-hand side. He's sent Haaland down the right-hand side of the field. There's a couple of bodies in the box. We've got to commit in the middle towards Cordy, and thankfully that flick-on header straight at Kubis, who does very well to save and hold. Can see the danger from Chelsea. As soon as they get space in front of them, they are well and truly out. All right, looking at conditioning, Warburton looks to be struggling a little bit, so I'm going to bring on Sigurdsson, and we're going to put him to a central defender on defend, which is his preference from being a stopper. Assertively, I have faith in you. And let's also use our demand more shout here for the last 10 minutes. Can we hold on to this defeat? You can see the demand more shout hasn't worked great. They've got a throw in here. Cordy flicks it on towards Tom. Sigurdsson with a wonderful clearance finds Phillips on the left wing. Just slow down, please, Scott. Bring others into it. Scovio with a great tackle to recover possession for Chelsea. Haaland with a long ball forward. Sigurdsson cuts it out. Leicester now out to the right-hand side, and Peacock. Just go to the corner flag. I don't mind if you hang out there for a few minutes. Header back post from Bloor and just over the crossbar. He's been busy, Teddy Bloor. I keep calling him Teddy Bloor. His name's Elliot. I don't know why I do that. Was there a guy named Teddy Bloor last season in our hashtag United save? I can't remember. Ben shot back into Leicester here. We're into additional time, about a minute remaining. Barbosa now over to Cambridge. You can see Chelsea leaving 3 men forward. Maybe we can find a ceiling goal here. Bloor's got in goal side, and it's a wonderful save from Kalkani in the Chelsea goal. There's about 30 seconds remaining of additional time. Just head to the corner flag, boys. Not worried. Just keep possession. Bloor back to Carlos Andre. Just keep possession, boys. Don't do anything silly. Now Cambridge. He's lost out to Russo. The clearance, thankfully, is poor. Leicester's given it back to Cordy, though, in midfield. Drame out to Haaland at right back. They're not looking too long forward. And thankfully, the referee calls full time. It's a famous victory against Chelsea. I think the first time that we've managed to beat them so far in this save. 6 shots, 4 on target, 53% possession for Chelsea. 15 shots, 6 on target, 47%. Definitely a backs to the wall job. Passionately, we're going to say, really special, lads. Nobody gave you a chance, and you played magnificently. And we will end that team talk and check out the post-match press conference and all that other nonsense. So that does see us move up into 3rd spot ahead of Chelsea. 9 games played, 6 wins, 2 draws, 1 defeat, plus 7 goal difference, and 20 points for the season so far. Manchester United also lost a match. Must have been last. Oh, no, it was against Southampton, a 2-1 defeat for them. So there's no one in the division remaining undefeated this season. There will be no invincibles across the league. And for us, we are just defying all expectations at the moment. Peacock gets one over on Chelsea. Of course, he was playing his old club from last season. Escobar gets the man of the match award, a 7.5 match rating. Lampard amazed as Chelsea failed to win. Amazed we didn't get the win out there before the match. I was very complimentary about the work Sean has done, but their performance today was very ordinary. I was stunned didn't things go our way. Statistically, they were the better side, to be fair. But that does make it 5 games in a row unbeaten for us. What a wonderful response. Now, looking forward, we've got Huddersfield and Everton coming up in 20th and 17th respectively. I think we'll play those off screen. And then we've got we've had a massive trip to London today. We've had, I think, coming up next, a massive trip up to Manchester to play Manchester United and Man City in back-to-back games. Again, there's a 2-week break between them. I'm assuming there is some sort of international call-up. But it's 2 very, very big away performances against the reigning defending champions in 1st spot and current 2nd position at Man City. Huge games at the minute at every turn, and we are defying expectations with our current start to the season. Oh, things are going very well. I do love the start of a season. Everything is so bright. All of our opportunities are there for the taking, and so far the team is performing tremendously well. I really have no complaints. As always, for you guys, thank you so much for watching. That is the part that I appreciate the most. If you wanted to go that extra mile, support the channel that little bit more, you can drop a like on this video. You can also subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date on all future videos as they're released. If you've got your own saves going on, drop them in the comment section below. Let me know how they're going. I do respond to every single comment that I get as soon as I see it. Sometimes with time difference, there's a bit of a delay, but that's just how the world works. But like I said at the start, thank you so much for watching. I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.